Off the Desk, episode 1. Here with my brother, Tom. I'm Steve. Welcome, Tom.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, how we start, mate?
Well, I've been super excited for this. I think when I first heard of podcasts going around, I was like, man, it would be cool to do one of those. But I think we've been pretty selective around when and why.
And what's involved, mate. And obviously time commitment, maybe we want to make sure it's valuable for everyone. So let's start a bit of a background on yourself.
Sure. So Tom Kelly, father of 2 beautiful daughters and a husband of an amazing wife, Grace, which I know she'll be listening to this. So
I start on the late.
And I am a current business owner, along with you, of Kelly Brothers Finance. We've been operating for just over 3 years now. But before that, going all the way back, I won't bore everyone with it, but, we went to school in Brisbane here, and I was never the best student, never wanted to go to uni and didn't in the end, and travelled and did all sorts of crazy stuff in my late teens and early 20s. And early 20s, I decided that I've got to sort my life out a little bit. So decided to work at NAB, where you were too.
I didn't know if we were mentioning which bank it was going to be, but let's get it out of the way early.
Well, I think it's more as well. It's part of the story.
It is part of the story.
Let's just rephrase. The one with the red star.
Or one of the major banks.
One of the major banks. Whatever works. You were working there at the time. You got me an interview, and I started as a teller. And that was when I was, I reckon, about 19 or so. And worked in NAB for a major bank for a long time. Thank you. And in between that, I wanted to try different industries because I never thought I was going to be a banker forever. But I certainly didn't want to go study. That was always my idea. I just wanted to work and make money, and try and get ahead a little bit. So I went on to do some different industries, from selling smoke alarms solutions, I should say, where real estates need to make sure your smoke alarms are working in your rentals. I was doing a bit of that. Then I went back to NAB, and then I went out and did some radio sales stuff. I'm a GC, which was a hell of a 12 months or so for me, which is good fun, again, and a bit more salesy around talking to businesses and trying to figure out how to convince them to advertise on our radio station.
Some good exposure to small business for you.
Yeah.
That was maybe the first start of it. Yeah.
For sure, yeah. Around how big decisions are when you're a small business signing up for something that could help or not help your business. I don't know if radio advertisement helps or not, but
that's important. I think a podcast advertisement might be. Wink, wink.
Yeah. Looking for a sponsor. So yeah, I think, having those different experiences and then going back to NAB, and, my last 12 months at NAB was working in a team of yours, and we figured that, hey, this is going pretty well. I was doing the home lending at that side, and you were the commercial specialist. You can go into yours soon. And I just thought that, it would be really cool. We've always spoken about running our own business and whether it's going to be in finance or not. But we may as well use our extreme skill set we have on looking after people, looking after clients in that finance game, that we should probably do it ourselves, which leads us to here.
It does. It does. Good background, mate. And I think a similar starting journey, obviously. Same school I went to, but straight out of school, I worked for that major bank, and I did 14 years there. I think mine was a bit more like, I thought that was what I was going to do forever. Like, I was happy to work at major bank. The goal was to be the CEO. I just don't understand why anyone would want to work anywhere and not be the CEO. That was just my mindset.
What was your age you were trying to be there? Was it 30 or 40?
There was a CEO that was 40 at the time. He was 40 when he was the CEO. So that was the goal, to be under 40 and the CEO of NAB. So everything led me to that. And I found my way into the business bank, dealing with small businesses, medium businesses, and then into the corporate area. So I got a really good taste of lending, but also what it is to run a business. I thought I had a good sense of it. We'll get into that more. We definitely didn't have a good sense of it, but I think we saw that exposure from our banking days, and we got to see a whole different range of businesses, people working together, what works, what might not work. And I think we took that approach. And when you joined the team for that final 12 months, I still wasn't convinced we were going to go out and run our own business, as you know, but I think the exposure together and working out we could do it, and that bank had we deviated a little bit from what I believed into what that bank was pursuing.
You didn't want to be the CEO by then.
I no longer wanted to be the CEO. I just didn't love the message. Yeah, I think big corporates are awesome for learning. I think we needed something more nimble, something we could change. Like when we're exposed to something like we do now, we just change, adapt. Adapt or die, I think. And that's where some of those bigger corporations can't do that. They just can't steer the ship quick enough, and they change too much. So we had to go out. Remiss of me not to say 2 children, myself, a lovely wife as well, Shay. Sorry for the late inclusion. I'll hear about that for sure.
Tom 1, Steve 0.
Steve 0, yeah. I've got a boy and girl. Super important. I think that adds context to you and I as well, like family men first and foremost. Super tight family, see our parents all the time, both sides. So I think, that's, older brother as well, all super tight. So hopefully that adds, some context to what drives us as well.
Did you go to uni, mate? Or
I did go to uni, thank you. Yeah, so 3 degrees. I'm not sure I use any of them, but 2 in finance, and I am
what are they? Yeah, break them.
I've got a Bachelor of Business in Management, Masters of Applied Finance, and the third one's a Bachelor of Nutrition, so Nutrition Science, I should say. So at NAB, I decided, at that major bank, I decided that it wasn't forever. So I was like, I'll go and study something I'm super passionate about. And fitness is something we're both very passionate about. And nutrition was super interesting to me. So part-time sort of / full-time, while I was full-time work, managing a family, pursuing a running career, which we'll definitely get into. I studied on the side as well somehow, 2 to 3 subjects.
Pursuing a running career.
Or a bit of a weekend warrior, maybe. Definitely a passionate runner.
Yeah.
For a bit more of an extreme end. So I think that I've definitely always been able to manage a lot of work.
Yeah.
I've never minded being busy. Yeah. So maybe that has continued nicely.
Well, yes, we are quite busy individually.
We can be all the time.
Business and everything else, and I think that leads nicely into like what we're doing here.
Yeah.
So Off the Desk, name of the podcast. Firstly, what do you reckon about why that name? Well, why did that speak to you?
Yeah, we had a few options, as everyone always does when they're looking at these things. So we decided Off the Desk because we didn't want to just talk about finance. So we obviously have very deep experience in finance, specifically the debt side, from home lending, car finance, commercial lending, business lending, equipment broadly, personal loans. Like we do it all with the KBF side. So we didn't want it just to be about finance. So Off the Desk is about stepping away from that role and trying to cover more areas that we think we can add value in, or that ever of interest to people. Like our focus is we talk about the 3 Fs of family, fitness, and finance. So that was the goal of this Off the Desk, more broader concept. We want to talk, have different people on the show that aren't just finance or business related, super interested in what drives athletes, high performing individuals across the board, and a lean into men's health, obviously, too. Sort of young guys, I still say. Apparently, we're not young anymore.
Not super young.
A couple of young guys who are super passionate about men's health as well. Like, big supporters of Movember and anything else we can get involved in the broker space. Best Interest Mates is kind of close to us as well, which people would have seen on some of our content as well. So I guess, we wanted a broader context. This is designed to cover off on our interests and what we think others will be interested in as well.
Yeah, for sure. And we consume podcasts ourselves.
We do.
And I think it's just an awesome way to get some good knowledge and to spend your time driving or running or whatever it might be, to hopefully listen to some stuff. And if we can give you, everyone out there, a couple of golden nuggets, then life's good.
100%.
That's what we're here for. So leading into those 3 Fs, that we like to call them. So fitness, family, and finance. I'm just trying to figure out which order it should be in. I think it should be family.
Family first. I think I said that. Just a non-record show. Yeah.
Okay. 1 all then. Yeah. Is it? Yeah. Steve 1, Tom 1. So family, fitness, and finance. So number 1, family. So we've come from a very close-knit family, as you alluded before. We've done a bit of traveling as a family. We lived in New Zealand for a couple of years with our old man's work. They then lived in the Philippines for a bit, and I tagged along to that. I don't know. I don't think you guys did. You and Breno.
Just a quick visit. That was
all. Quick visit. Yep. Yeah. But since then, having our own wives and families, I think that's really shaped what we need to and want to do with ourselves. Obviously being happy and enjoying work is super important, but also building something special that we can be proud of, that we can go, hey kids, look what we've done, And when things get hard around business ownership, which we will definitely go into, a couple of different dynamics of you and I as well, which we can go into as well. I think that really dictates around how we are role models or leaders of our family when we create our own business.
100%. I think a bit of it's like how you're present with your with your family, like being aware of what you're doing, like little things, like not being on your phone all the time at home, trying to be present for the weekends. We do run our own business, so we work big hours. So we're not there every morning. We're not there every evening. Like there's a sacrifice in that we're super aware of. But the goal's to be present when we're present, and then to build something, but also like demonstrate hard work. Like our parents showed us what hard work's truly like. So they learn by seeing and learn by doing. So if we can demonstrate or show what the outcome is of hard work, then what a better lesson to pass on to our children as well. So I think the family part's super important, and that's the part that we often sacrifice for the others, which is not ideal and something we're trying to work on more. I know both of us personally are trying to work on that more, is how we get the balance right between these three things, and we often don't, and then we ruin all three of them at the same time. So the dynamic of all three is really hard, and I think the family one's the most important, but it's also the easiest one to sacrifice when the others are pulling you away a bit.
What's that thing you always talk about where, we do all this to then spend time with our family, but we sacrifice all the time with our family to then get there one day and we can spend time with the family, whereas we could probably just spend time run a successful business and spend time with family now.
Yes.
Does that pull you still?
All the time. Yeah, all the time. Every waking moment of my day, I contemplate that. So, I think what's the outcome? And often we miss the journey's more important than the destination.
Yeah.
I think we miss that at times. So constantly reminding yourself that there's joy in this part, not just joy at the end. Because many of the podcasters we spoke about, like Modern Wisdom and Chris Williamson, often talks about that.
Yep.
That you get the sales target or you get the revenue number that you wanted, which is awesome, but you're not satisfied. And you chase the next revenue number. Like, oh, that's really nice, but what about the next one? So you never reach the destination because there's always somewhere else to target, somewhere else to aim for. So enjoying when you get to a moment and celebrating something I'm terrible at, you're much better at that.
Yes.
So definitely something I should focus on is when you do meet a milestone, celebrate it.
Smell the roses.
I don't smell the roses. So I'm trying to smell the roses as we go. Yeah, flowers, roses. I'm trying to smell them as we go more.
Yeah.
Because I probably never will celebrate those little hurdles. So maybe having that achievement's not something that drives me. It's more just enjoying the process as we go rather than each milestone to celebrate.
Yeah. Or just celebrating at the end goal.
Probably. What is the end goal? That? Yeah, that's a strange concept. Family. Yeah, spend time with family, which I'm sacrificing to.
And they'll be in their 20s.
Yeah, to an end goal, and they won't want to spend time. So I think there's a balance in that, and try to work through that. And like that's what drives some of those other parts for us as well. Like if we dive into fitness, we both chose fitness aspirations that require a lot of time, which is probably not always the smartest concept, like long distance running, and then you do a mix of long distance running and gym work, which requires a lot of time. So again, that pulls on us to what we can fit in a week as well. Do you think that's a smart idea?
Well, I think we have to do it for a number of reasons. One, because we love it. And I think being physically healthy is important to just operating at a high level like we try to. I guess we could probably call ourselves high performers. I don't know. That's a bit egotistical, but it is what it is. And I think that physical health helps, but I think the mental health of then being able to be present at home and not being, overwhelmed or feeling down, because when you go out for a big slog, whether it's a long run or a heavy gym work, you come back with all sorts of happy feelings. Yeah, good feelings, clear feelings, and I think that's like KBA, Keller Brothers Finance, was born on a run. We were running in the bush together, as we do often, too often probably. And we're like, man, maybe we should do this thing, and maybe we should, really have a go at it and see what we can achieve. And since then, a lot of our big decisions have been made on runs together.
100%. Yeah.
And so not only that, doing it with someone is awesome, but the mental clarity you get from doing those any fitness really, I'm not just saying you have to be a long distance runner.
Not a bad idea though.
But it's not a bad idea, because when you're out in the bush for 4 hours with nothing else to think about other than what's going on in your life, it's almost like a place where, say you've got a really messy garage, right? And there's just stuff everywhere. And it's like, I don't know where to start, what to do. Like there's too much going on. And then you get some nice shelves in your garage and you pack everything away where it should be. To me, that's what when I'm running, I'm packing stuff away in my brain, and I'm going, all right, that's there and that's over here. And now I know where everything is, and now I can sort through it mentally. And that's like what I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I come back with all sorts of great ideas after runs. I mean, every business decision we've made you've had to go on a long run on it.
100%.
Like every single one. Like,
still-
I'll run on that.
Make sure I run.
Still to this day.
Yep. I run it because I agree. Yeah, it gives you time to unpack, think about scenarios. Like we made some faster decisions early on.
Yes.
I don't, with reflection and what we've learned, I don't think they're always the best decisions. So I've slowed down my decision-making process
I've noticed.
because the running part helps me unpack it. So yeah, like doing a long run, and like I run quite a lot, like we're talking 10 plus hours a week of running. So there's a lot of time for me to unpack things. So even though I take time to make a decision, I'm running really soon. So I'll probably have a chance to make that decision pretty soon anyway.
Yeah.
So, but the long runs definitely, yeah, I think we often talk about like moving the physical helps is the first way to clear the mental part. So if you do a high stressful job or live a high stressful life, which arguably we all do, like because of the exposure and social media giving us all these endorphin dumps, how do you clear all of that in a natural way? Like you move your body first. So if we move our body first, it clears the mind out. So without having a fitness like aspiration or activity that suits us, I think we'd struggle. We'd struggle to be high performers, and we'd struggle to clear that mindset, and we'd be very grumpy people, which
No doubt.
our partners know well that we're grumpy if we're not moving or doing anything. So
Can you go for a run already? You're getting real.
they allow the freedom because they're not ideal. So I think it's important. And yeah, again, like men's mental health, we like moving the body, being in shape as well. Like it's just is something that's super important to us because again, it shows you've committed to yourself. Like not everyone's going to always be in shape for different reasons, which is totally understandable and fine. But again, if you're a high performer, you're looking after yourself as well whilst performing at a high level, you're going to be able to, not only the mental side, but the physical side, how hard you can work and repeatedly work. It's just going to be at a great level.
Yeah, and also like, not just fold into temptations, whether it's smashing down that donut or going out for 10 beers on the weekend, all that sort of stuff takes willpower, which, if you've got that, then that can help with other aspects in life.
Absolutely. Yeah. When it sucks when you're running and you keep going,
Yeah.
that builds an ability to keep going when it sucks. And so when you're sitting at the desk 6:30, 7 p.m. at night and you'd love to go home, but you've got something left to do, you'll do what you need to do to get it done because you're used to doing things that you don't always want to do.
And even on the other, like the full other side of the spectrum, if you're not enjoying your role or job and you're having a tough time personally, mentally and all that sort of stuff, which is like we're very aware of, and I'm not saying I'm not bringing that side down or anything, but like move your body, like if you're struggling to get out of bed and not enjoying your work, go move your body and things will just start to change for you, whatever that is. Go walk on a treadie for 10 minutes, go have a walk outside, get some fresh air. We're big on the nature side, like the running in the trails and whatnot, because that's just special. But if you're not, that's cool. Like just go do something and do that repetitively for the next few weeks and just see what will change.
Absolutely. Start. Yep. Just start to see how the mental improves because of the physical. I think it's a great way to start. And like diet's super important as well. As a university educated nutritionist, we could dive into diet. Diet adds more element. Like if you want to, and again, this podcast could go in all sorts of weird directions, but if weight loss is the goal, diet's the way to start. So you definitely want to move, but you'll get way more value out of diet and just monitoring, what goes in, calories burnt, weight loss is improved. So we could definitely dive into that detail, maybe a whole segment.
Probably,
if needed.
And like how good protein is and all that, eh?
We could talk about protein all day, couldn't we? Or creatine, whatever other obsession you've read an article about. Proven article about something.
Helps it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the Western world, there's no such thing as protein deficiency. So then the only argument is how much protein you need to improve on. And I say that if you're having a balanced diet, there's no such thing as protein deficiency. If you're not having a balanced diet, yes, there's a disclaimer. You can do it. We should put a disclaimer. But if you're eating sufficient caloric intake for your body, you'll consume enough protein. So it's not going to be a problem. But
very good.
If you want to be a massive bodybuilder, there's probably an element to that that we need to focus on. So, and creatine, don't have the gummies apparently. Yeah, that's just an unsolicited throw in. But
apparently there's no creatine.
There can be very limited creatine in the gummies.
Hopefully the creatine companies that have gummies don't come attacking us.
We'll definitely get blocked or banned, or the lawyers will come in straight away, I reckon, from this podcast. So, and the last one, we didn't talk about finance, which we really use as our business term, just because 3 F's sounds better than 2 F's and a B. So
flows.
Finance. What is the goal of Kelly Brothers Finance? Cover off on that element, because that one really drags a lot of our time. Which we're happy to give because there's a goal there and an aspiration to be something pretty special.
Yeah, like obviously, other than the monetary value that we started this business for, like that's super important, right? We're not going to work for free, and we think we can create a pretty cool lives for our family and families beyond in due course, of course. But I think like when we started, that was what we were talking about often. But it really quickly turned around to like, hey man, people need help, and we worked out very quickly that banks or even other brokerages and like. There's lots of good brokers out there and there's some not so good. It just is what it is, like in any industry.
100%. BV2, yeah. Same in every field. There's always the good and there's always the less good. So.
Yeah. But when you're making these huge decisions on buying, your first home and you're going to be in $500,000 of debt, or, you're buying that investment property that you're going to have for retirement, like these are big decisions. And we can touch on commercial, of course, considering we do that too. But when you have someone who isn't committed, who's not really there to look after you as they should be, these decisions can go wrong. And, I've heard stories of where other brokers might miss a settlement and then you get, all sorts of costs and you lose your deposit or interest or whatever it might be, or, you don't get the right product, or you don't get the right support, and things can just go wrong where you can bid at auction and not have your pre-approvals associated. And things can go really bad. And what we learn is that just naturally how we operate is speed. Like that's what we've always done from NAB to, the major bank, and that's good recap, whatever, to just everything in life, really. We just like to operate quickly. So when someone does reach out, and we learned this in our first early days, we are all for them, and we're emotionally invested for good and bad, because then we carry so much at home. We do. We're so emotionally invested in our clients. But like when we started to really nail some things and really help some people, we figured out very quickly that isn't everywhere. And we then took it upon ourselves to grow quickly, because we thought that people deserve a good experience and the right experience when they are making these huge financial decisions. People buy or sell a property, give or take, every 7 to 8 years. That's what the sort of stats are. Some would buy one property in their whole life. These decisions aren't something to be taken lightly. So I think we quickly learned in our business that we need to grow to ensure that people are getting looked after. And it so quickly shifted from making a quick dollar, or potentially like retiring early or whatever that our crazy thoughts were at the start, to like, all right, we're going to build something pretty special. And we're just going to really focus on helping people. And the amount of time we put into a client that maybe doesn't go anywhere, or that we just are happy to have a conversation with a referral source, or just a random person inquiring, or people that we know we're not going to make any money on, it doesn't bother us, because we know that doing the right thing is what is most important, and things tend to come around from that as well in a most positive way for our business. And when you're just focusing on like doing what's right by people and helping out people that need that help, because we have the knowledge, it's crazy what sort of flow-on effect you get from that. And like we always call it in our business the sleep test. Like, are you going to sleep well doing this deal for this client? If the answer is yes, then do it, right? And if you're not going to sleep well because you're going to think about it and worry about it, don't do that. There's no grey in our business, and it's easy to
not the right thing. Yes, it's not. Like, it's just not. So one of our fundamental principles: do the right thing. So if you're not doing the right thing, then we won't sleep, and we don't sleep well enough as it is.
Correct.
So I don't need any more of that on me. And I think you nailed it on all those parts. Like, communication was key.
Yep.
We knew that from our banking days, that good communication, like always keeping everyone updated, because they don't know where they are through the process. And we often talk like people, like 5 times in their lifetime, they might buy a property. Less, one time. Like, these are incredible experiences. And we reflected a lot on our wives as nurses, how people don't go to hospital all the time, like how intense that experience is for people going into a hospital as a comparison, and how having a great experience is so important, where nurses and doctors turn up every day to do the same job, but this person's only in their hospital that handful of times in their life. It's such an intense experience for them. We're not comparing ourselves to the great work nurses and doctors do, that's for sure. But
Shane, great.
it is a really important experience for people, and we want it to be the greatest possible experience. And we continue to put a lot of pressure on ourselves to refine that process for that experience, because we're going to drive the greatest experience for people. And you're right, naturally they refer their friends and family, which we love, and that's a great business model for ourselves. But the driver was always great experience, great experience. And then everything onto our commitment to review your loan at least annually. Like, the process has been built to give people great experiences, where we thought they were let down by banks, definitely. And we didn't think other brokers, because it's a very low barrier to entry to be a broker. Diploma, and then, well, even certificate, Cert 4 or a diploma. And then you have to be shadowed by someone, whether that's done properly or not. Low barrier to entry, we have a lot of experience, and a lot of our profession is based on experience. Like, you need to see a scenario to learn a scenario. So if you don't have time in the industry, it's really hard to catch up with someone who has that time in the industry. So we wanted a great experience. That was the driver, and it still is. Like, it's still driving us day in, day out.
100%. Yeah. And just back on that nursing stuff that you're talking about, it's such a good example because I might speak to 3 first home buyers a day, and every single time I get pumped because buying your first home is exciting. But most people, like, that's a struggle to get up for every phone call, to be like, whoa, you're thinking about doing that? Like, that's so cool. And this is how much you're going to need. This is what you're going to do. And like the amount of phone calls that I've had of approvals or settlements for first home buyers, and they've been emotional, like that stuff gets me.
Yeah, good Lego shoes there. So, and look, I don't do as much on the first home buyer side as you do, but one of my greatest approval phone calls, which I still talk about, was calling to say, congratulations, you're approved to a first home buyer. And the scream and joy on the phone, still one of the best phone calls I've made in 3.5 years. Like, commercial clients are a bit more used to some of those experiences. Like, it's more transactional, whereas the home is really special. Not that we don't drive great outcomes for commercial clients. It's just a difference in how emotionally driven someone may be, which drives a great outcome as well and is very enjoyable.
Yeah, first home's your first home. You know, it is what it is. Yeah,
you only get one.
It's a wild time. So cool, man. Well, we might wrap it up there. I think that's been good. Awesome first episode. Thanks everyone for listening. If you have, like, subscribe, buttons, that's all they say. Or
I don't know. More for Off the Desk. We'll explore all those topics more. I think there's heaps to go into from different people we'll look to include on the show.
Yeah.
Lots more on that finance, family, fitness aspect.
Yeah.
The driver of this podcast is just to share our experience, knowledge, and add some value to people as we go.
No doubt. Thanks, Leo.
Thanks, Tom.